necessary. How many times have we seen the government of Mexico get upset y levantar las espinas contra el oso when there was really no need for it? What I wrote was brilliant, but also, in the current context, mistaken. Because I think the oso of today is not just clumsy and big, it is dangerous. Dangerous for you. This me duele decírselo, porque soy obviamente a good American. But I think we're dealing with an American government that can do great damage to Mexico, and in some ways may even want to damage Mexico. And I think we're dealing with a Mexican government, the Puerco Espin, that really does have to levantar las espinas and defend Mexico's interests. We don't want to see conflict. None of us want to see conflict. None of us want to see difficulty. But this is a moment in time unlike any I have experienced in my lifetime. I think the relationship between the United States and Mexico today is as difficult as any time that we've seen, maybe since the mid-1980s, at the time of the Camarena case, the closing of the border. So we're dealing with a very complex time that will take the best of minds, the best of intentions, which we have to deal with this. Mexico is, I would say, under assault on three fronts. First, there is the question, or they are, the question of Mexican citizens in the United States. The vulnerability of the indocumentados. Secondly, we have this idea of the wall, the muro. And third, we have the issue of trade with Mexico and the supposed problem of the loss of American jobs to Mexico. Now, it's very difficult to know, and this is my personal perspective. You can accept it, you don't have to. It's very difficult to know where we are headed. Clearly, there's already been some changes in the rhetoric that's coming from the White House. It's difficult because the words come so fast in the Twitters and the tweets, and you have to say, what the hell is going on? But if you look and listen closely, there have been some changes. For instance, ever since President Peña Nieto canceled his trip to Washington, say 4 weeks ago, he told the other individual, you realize I have talked for 5 minutes without mentioning anybody's name. He told that individual, look, if you keep talking about Mexico having to pay for the wall, I cannot talk to you. Period. And since that time, the individual has not talked about Mexico paying for the wall. Now, do I think he's changed his mind? Do I think he's become a nice guy? No, but it indicates that there may be some possibilities of modifying, if not action, then at least rhetoric. On the question of trade, he seemed to say at one point, well, we will just put a tariff on any American company that transfers jobs to Mexico. The latest formulations coming from him are a little more complicated. And while, again, I don't think necessarily he is operating from goodwill, I think the realities are having some impact, if not on him, then on the people around him. It's interesting. Yesterday, he was talking about Obamacare, and he said the most amazing thing for a person in his position. He was talking about repeal, what have you, and he said, who knew that this would be so complicated? Who knew? Well, I knew, and I'm not very smart. So I think the reality is coming in a bit. On the question of indocumentados, he began by saying and giving the impression that everyone was going to have to leave. Now his administration, Secretary Kelly, is saying, no, there will be no mass deportations. Well, okay, that's a difference. I think the situation in relation to the indocumentados is really horrible. We all know people, or heard of people, who are literally living in fear. Mothers who are not sending their kids to school because the mothers living in San Diego are afraid while the kids are at school, the mothers will get picked up. Fortunately, we have in San Diego a wonderful Mexican consul, Marcelo Solorio. And working with those marvelous Mexican U.S. consul here, Will Ostrich, they will try to find ways to protect these people and treat them humanely. But don't misunderstand me. The situation is bad. The rhetoric, as it confronts reality, as it confronts the famous checks and balances within the U.S. system, as it confronts some of the realities of the American Congress and the American business community, are having some effect, at least on the rhetorical front. But that's not enough. It is not my job to give advice to Mexico and Mexicans. But why the hell not? It's something I do very well. Mexico has got to protect itself. It has got to be aggressive on all the fronts that I just mentioned. Now, perhaps the most complicated one is the wall. Obviously, Mexico's not going to do that. So, I understand why Mexico and Mexicans are so insulted by the wall. It is the also telling the Puerto Rican, we don't want it. Nobody wants to hear that. But really, I must say, it's more my problem than your problem, because I'm going to wind up paying for it. Obviously, the opposition to the wall should continue on the part of Mexico and on the part of the friends of Mexico. But of the three issues that I've mentioned, I think it may be the least important. Very insulting, very hurtful, practical effect, especially here, where we have lived with walls, may not be that great. The question of the indocumentados, yes, Mexico should be constantly helping them and reminding the world that their civil rights, their human rights, have to be protected. I'll tell you what I am fearful of. And I've had an opportunity to talk to some of the people who are very knowledgeable about this. At the upper level of government, let's say the level of Secretary Kelly. Secretary Kelly, by the way, is a man who is brilliant, experienced, and actually knows a great deal about Latin America. Because at one point he was head of Southcom in Panama, traveled all around. And I think he's a very decent man. I don't think he wants to hurt people. But the rhetoric that is coming from the White House, the executive orders, the plan to hire 10,000 or more new agents, maybe 20,000 more agents. We know what happens. We have seen what happens when there is a big buildup. People come in who are not appropriate for the job, who are poorly trained. And in the current situation, the rhetoric will encourage them to be aggressive. And this is something that actually, I must say, gives me the most pain. If there is difficulty in terms of the Mexican business community, the Mexican economy, that's bad. But you will survive. You always survive, and you're very brave. But if you're a single mother with children hiding in your house, that's wrong. And those people need your help. Now, so many years. Now, on the trade front, it's difficult to know where we are heading. And in point of fact, not only is it difficult because it's hard to get clarity, but these are very complex issues you understand much better than I do if we start talking about tariffs, taxes, and what have you, and the implication of those for products produced in Mexico or imported to Mexico. It's very complicated. I think The position of Mexico has got to be very firm. And Mexico cannot be singled out for punishment. It is possible that the administration may choose to apply new laws, the border adjustment tariff, for instance, the border adjustment tax, which would apply to all countries. I think that would be very bad. I think it would send a message that we are looking for an international trade war. We have been there before. But, quite frankly, in the case of the people in this room, something like that, as bad as it is, if it applies to every country in the world, doesn't necessarily disadvantage Mexico more than other countries. It's bad. It has to be fought against. But Mexico has got to protect itself, not be singled out. They have said they want to renegotiate NAFTA. Well, okay, NAFTA is 25 years old. Think of the economy as it existed 25 years ago. None of us had these damn telephones. They didn't exist. All sorts of issues have come to us in 25 years. Remember, energy as an issue. The United States, during the negotiations, said to the Mexicans, let's talk about energy. And the Mexicans said, Dios mío. This is the blood of the Virgen de Guadalupe, and you will never touch. You will never touch energy. Well, okay. So there are new things. They have to be discussed. And if there is a negotiation about NAFTA, there are things that Mexico would like to get, things the United States would like to get. But Mexico cannot afford to give up its privileged position on the basis of the KLC when it comes to tariffs, taxes. If the United States insists on that, the government of Mexico has said, Guajardo said this the other day, we're getting up and walking out. And he's right. Get up and walk out. You are not without your own espinas. You have ways to protect yourself. Now, the best way to protect yourself, again, I apologize for giving advice, but my wife no longer listens to me. So when David asked me, I said, can I give advice? I said, sure. I think the way to protect yourself the best is by building alliances. You have to find partners in the United States. Every person in this room has contact with American companies. And those companies obviously see benefit to the situation as it exists. Maybe a little better situation. But you should be not at all shy, not at all ashamed of going to your partners in the United States, to the people you buy from, the people you sell to, the people you cooperate with, and say, look, Mexico and the United States are strategic allies, not only in trade, but in security, in culture. The United States is the one who gets great benefits from NAFTA. Mexico gets great benefits too. But make the case. And you know the case. Now you have to be somewhat careful. And here, I think it's important to realize that in looking for alliances, what you're looking for is allies, friends. And so the way the approach is made is very important. There are some people in Mexico today, and they are angry, and they are insulted, who are saying, well, what we're going to tell the gringos is this: if you mess us over, they use different words, on trade, we're going to stop cooperating on security. We're not going to help on narcotics. We're not going to help on terrorism. We're not going to help in Central America. That is the wrong approach. Why? Because it plays directly into the hands of the people who want to present the image of Mexico as an adversary, an enemy, not a friend, not a strategic ally. So, I don't know where we are headed. I think it's very difficult. We are in a process now of turning ugly campaign rhetoric into political reality. That process of rhetoric to reality is difficult for any new administration, but it is particularly difficult in the United States today because the rhetoric was and is so extreme. But you have a role to play, and the role is to defend yourself, be the Puerto Rican, but do it intelligently, forcefully, maintain your opposition to the wall, because I think that's important symbolically and psychologically. Help your connacionales in the United States, this is documentados, and stand firm on what are the essentials of the TLSA. And all of this can be helped by looking for allies, alianzas, in the United States. Thank you.
A continuación vamos a otorgarle al embajador un reconocimiento mismo entregado por el presidente Davidow.
Yes. I know I told you a few things, but I thank you for your advice. I think that we all received incredible advice today from Jeff. I think that one of the things that experience brings to us is that you learn and you listen more and more as time goes by. And thank you for your comments. This is a little recognition. It says, acknowledge with affection and admiration, Jeffrey Davidow, for sharing your inspiring experiences that invite us to improve our world. We are sure your words will be seeds of knowledge for us. Thank you so much.
Muchísimas gracias a todos ustedes por habernos acompañado. Damos por terminado el evento. Que tengan un excelente día.